Hello everyone, and welcome to part 3 of my Prismata Master Challenges playlist. In the last episode, we did the first 2 Masterbot challenges, got them right on the first try, although to be fair, Masterbot did not put up much of a fight. We're going to move on now to Masterbot Challenge 3. Again, remember that I've never seen the set before, so you're getting my first impressions of the set. First thing I noticed is there's a lot of green-red. Which is pretty aggressive generally, but you know, what is there available to punish something like double Scorch, double Tarsier, Sentinel Reservoir or something like that? That's like a promising build that like applies a lot of pressure in a hurry. Although maybe Tia is a bigger deal. The main thing that would worry me about that is Odin. Red is very breach sensitive, and Odin applies a humongous amount of breach pressure. So if you can't survive the Odin, or if you can't stop the blue player from building an Odin, then red-green is going to crumble with Odin just pounding down your door. And actually, there's some interesting stuff going on for blue here with Lance-Tooth and Thermite Core. With these, you can... They both do a very good job of preventing your opponent from getting Absorb. You can you can keep your attack at 0 for quite a long time if you have access to Lance-Tooths and Thermite Cores, and still actually use your attackers to do something, build up pixies or build up attackers. Is that good enough to cope with the red-green, to keep the red-green from overwhelming you? I don't know. There's not really any big absorbers except for Odin, and you don't really... I guess you can synth into Odin, and then you still have the green. You'd much rather have like a bunch of green than a bunch of blue every turn, right? Because you can use it to force field, and have a couple of turns where you use multiple blue, like Odin, or use those turns to get Thermite Cores or something. It's kind of hard to get the Odin, isn't it? I'm not very good with Odin, I feel like. But I think there's a player 1 rush for Odin that actually is pretty effective, and the problem is that this like red-green thing is pretty serious business too, and it might be fast enough to stop the Odin. I think I'd like to play red-green here. Especially because we have Tia available. And we can even, perhaps... Oh, that's an idea. What if we went red-green and then mixed in a blue just for Thermite Cores? Then, you know, with Scorchillas and then Tarsiers and then maybe Sentinels or something, you don't waste any attack because... you'll get all your attack arrives at once. But then on the next turn, you basically just have like 2 Tarsiers sitting there, maybe 2 Sentinels. Probably not, you can't spend 14 bucks. But if you could somehow get a Thermite Core in as well as all of that, you could make use of those 2 Tarsiers to build up more Thermites for the next wave of Scorches. The problem is I don't think you can actually do that. Oh, also the double Scorch thing is really more of a player 2 idea, isn't it? Because player 2 can go double drone conduit and then animus, which I can't do. And I don't want to go single drone conduit and then animus. I think that's a bit too aggressive. So maybe I should try the Odin thing. And I'd love to get a Thermite Core as well. Because... yeah, but I don't think I can. Okay, so he's going, I think, for the red-green strat. Or if he's not, he's making a mistake. Yeah, this is scary. I mean, this is what I was worried about. Hang on, is this how you... So how do you build Odin? Is it like this? And then... Next turn, I'll build, like, 2 Blast Forges. Maybe I need to not rush for Odin because it would arrive on the turn when all his pressure hits. Just build, like, walls for a turn or 2. Walls or steel splitters or something. Yeah, okay. This is what I would do as player 2. As player 1, it's a lot harder, and I was hoping to make something happen with the Odin instead. So first of all, let me just think about how an Odin build would work. It's basically like this, right? This is the player 1 Odin rush. I could still build Odin next turn. That might be worth doing, because it's going to be hard for red-green to defend itself. And I get the Thermite Core out, which is nice. Yeah, Odin arrives before the Scorch's attack, which means if I have to, I can like hold Steel Splitters back and still defend the Odin. I like this idea. What? He should have built Tarsiers this turn to arrive along with the Scorches. But okay, we'll just build an Odin then. And see, he already has to hold drones. This is a totally wrong order here. Okay, so we're sacking a Steel Splitter to get this stuff going. But that's sort of fine, right? I can just do this. And I think I need one more engineer, but that's probably all. Maybe I don't even need that. I think I can drone. He just doesn't have enough coordinated attack to cause me trouble. I guess this Steel Splitter should just be a wall. Because it leaves me with the same 4 Steel Splitters, except that I've spent $1 less. And I guess I do want an engineer, in fact. Okay. This one attack obviously like is not doing me any good, but it doesn't do me any good to not attack either, so. Yes, we could click Odin, but then we don't get to deny him Absorb, and we don't get more Absorb ourselves. So I think this is actually like kind of disgusting. Is just like building a million Thermite cores. There's something to be said for like not clicking Thermite cores and instead building Lance Tooth. But I think that this is fine. This applies a lot of pressure. It doesn't look like it because we're not attacking him, but allowing all these Steel Splitters to get value and not have to lose Absorb. Like, look at this. He's holding back Sentinels already. I guess he did that supposedly to build a Lance Tooth, but okay. So we still can't breach him. I could do this. And I don't think I'm building more attack this turn. I think I need mostly defense for the Scorch turn that's coming up. No, we'll do this. Can I really get another Thermite Core if I shift E? Probably. I can build several walls next turn. The new Thermite Core is so fun. Like, you recall it used to just have pay 1 attack for 1 pixie. It does twice as much now, and As a result, it's much more possible to get into a state where your opponent is... to stay in the state where your opponent doesn't absorb anything for a long period of time. Yeah, so holding one drone and Shift W is enough to defend. That's nice. Does that mean... yeah, I did not build any drones last turn, which was correct. And drones that I built earlier were than that are getting better value than if I had built an engineer. So I don't love holding a drone, but it's fine. I guess actually before I do that, let's double check. Oh. Well, this is better, isn't it? On the other hand, then I'm not defending. I breach him, which is kind of cool. But I think it's... all breaching really does is deny him absorb, and clicking the thermites also does that, but lets us get more absorb and actually defend, which we can't do if we click the Odin. So yeah, let's just do this. And now he's basically toast. Okay, so he can still defend here, which is a bit of a shame. But we're definitely clicking the pixies because we don't have enough anymore to deny him absorb value. One of our thermite cores died off. So since we can't deny absorb value, there's no point clicking any of these thermites. We should instead click all the pixies to apply pressure. And I'm thinking actually I should click the Odin as well. What this does is I'd like to breach him before he gets the next wave of Scorches. And if I hold back the Odin, I'm getting more absorb, although not this turn because I'm going to be exploited granularity-wise. Actually, I guess this way he only gets 7 attack, so he still exploits me. So yes, holding Odin back does save me 1 absorb. It deals 4 damage to him and takes away 1 damage per turn that I could otherwise do. But I would like for the game to be decided within the next 3 turns, which means that clicking Odin is adding to my damage total, not subtracting from it. He's going to be very hard-pressed to put together all this defense again, which is what he's going to have to do now that I'm starting to click Odin. Yes, lose every... well, I guess he doesn't have to put together that much. He just... because we're not spending all those pixies again, of course. But we are able to keep clicking the Odin. There's an argument to be made for, like... no, there's not really for clicking thermites. Okay. So just keep going on that Odin, keep applying pressure. Exciting. He's actually able to defend. But he's way, way down on drones, right? Like, this is much easier for me to deal with than it is for him. I might have to find a way to tech out a blue. Is there some argument for building a Lance-Tooth? I don't think so. Even if I could click 3 thermite cores, yes, absolutely I would do that. Or if I could afford to build 2 Lance-Tooths, yes, I would do that. But I can't. So... is there some number of thermite cores that makes him defend awkwardly? I guess this costs him the most amount of granularity, but he still has perfect granularity, so it doesn't matter. Okay. So I would have liked to breach him by now. I'm surprised that that didn't happen. But as you can see, we now finally can breach him. Oh, I'm out of walls. Well, maybe you should not breach him just yet then, huh? We're out of steel splitters too. I guess I'll get a conduit, start building Gauss cannons. What if these were Lance Tooths? He still gets full absorb, so not much point, right? I mean, I guess I could go totally crazy and build 3 Lance Tooths, deny him 1 absorb, but then we lose the Odin. It's not such a great idea. Oh, I shouldn't build a conduit, I should build a synthesizer. That's better. Except that then I can't build 2 steel splitters because I'm not defending. It would probably be bad to lose the Odin. I don't think I should lose an Odin. Yuck. Is there some way I could have gotten 2 more engineers last turn? I could have cut the steel splitter. That might have been a good idea. Actually, you know what? It's better to lose a steel splitter than it is to lose 2 drones. He's gonna exploit me, I think, by... No, he can't. He has to attack for either 3 or 5. This is still a pretty serious exploit. Odin absorbs only 2. Honestly, the breach might just be the better idea. And say, fine, if you want to breach me and kill my Odin, I'm just ahead in everything else that matters, and that's fine with me. And if you want to kill 5 drones, I'm way ahead in drones too. I don't need 2 synthesizers. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, you got me. My Odin's down. But in the meantime, you are toast. And I'll just add in some Gauss cannons. I don't know. We can breach most of these guys. And I don't know. I can't build walls. And I don't want to unclick a steel splitter. I'll just force field. More drones. Anyway, I should stop thinking and wasting all this time. We've clearly won here. Oh, he stayed alive another turn. Well done, Masterbot. Well done. Masterbot uses an algorithm called hierarchical portfolio search. It was developed exclusively for Prismata. Okay, good to know. So, I don't know. This was not an easy set to understand. I think as player 2, something like this really should beat the player 1 Odin. But I don't know. Like, Odin is very powerful. And the Thermite Core did help a lot. So maybe he actually was just in a bit of trouble. Yeah, building up all this threat is a pretty big deal. Huh. I don't know. It would have been nice to mix in some more tech earlier, so something that would have been good at some point would be to notice that I'm running out of steel splitters, and that synthesizer would be a great way to expand my portfolio of attackers from just being steel splitters to like buy 1 steel splitter and 2 Gauss cannons every turn, and that way I can continue building attackers for longer. Whereas what happened was when I ran out of steel splitters, like I started having trouble spending my tech, actually. Well, not really, I guess. I just transitioned all at once instead of gradually. I was still building like all of my gold on mostly attackers, so I think actually what I did was fine. I think he made a mistake by mixing in blue, honestly. Like, oh yeah, and this whole Sentinel business, like way too early. Yes, you killed an engineer, well done. But building Tarsiers next was much weaker. If you had built them to arrive with the Scorch, I think you'd be a bit happier. Anyway, that was an interesting game. Let's try Unfair Challenge 1. So, Masterbot has an extra engineer. How unfair. I agree. What's the idea here? First thing I see is a lot of powerful red, sort of rushy units. Electrovore and Blood Rager. Maybe Shadowfang. Nitrocybe is also a useful red sync. So those units play well together. Ebb Turbine is a very powerful unit. Being able to like buy drones for a while and then sell them back at full value after they've like compounded for you is really quite good. It's dangerous in general to not buy Ebb Turbine when Ebb Turbine is in the set. But maybe if there were a fast enough red rush that you should skip it, that would be okay. I don't know. Ebb Turbine also sort of combos with Electrovore. I mean, not very much, but Ebb Turbine, you get the 3 gold and the energy, right? You can use that to click Electrovores. Steel Forge is probably not going to help in that. Because you just don't want the second blue. You don't want to buy 2 Blast Forges to get a blue sync, right? Yeah, I think like there are ways to tech back out of blue in this set with Steel Forge or Grenade Mech. Not both, but one of them. Which sort of argues for getting an Ebb Turbine mixed in with whatever else you're doing, because if you have too much blue, you can just sell it. But all of that requires you to commit to 2 blue for at least a couple of turns. And I don't think I can really afford to spend 10 and 2 blue on a Grenade Mech while also doing the rushy red thing. Colossus, I think, is just too slow and too clunky to defeat any of this stuff, and there's no like support for it really. So this looks to me like a red rush set, with like Tarsiers into Electrovores into Blood Rager, and then more something. And the main question on my mind is whether to mix an Ebb Turbine into that, and if so, how. Because I don't really know that I want much blue, but it's probably good. Yeah. I mean, Ebb Turbine, of course, sort of helps you spend the blue because it lets you sell drones. So I think that this is going to be the idea. I'm going to go for a turn 3 Animus into building enough attack to get a turn 6 Blood Rager. And then whenever I have time, I'd like to add a blue for Ebb Turbine. And then like Steel Splitters or something. Or walls, probably. What is the scariest thing for me to have to deal with in that? It might actually be Grenade Mech. Because this strategy is going to be pretty sensitive to breaches, and Grenade Mech helps produce those. I don't think Colossus is really a big idea. I think it's just a mistake. I don't think you're going to have enough economy to build a Shadowfang. You don't want to take the time to build another Animus when you could just build like more attackers. Steel Forge, it could be. It's not really a threat. It's just like a thing your opponent can do. It doesn't seem that great to me. So let's put the units I'm planning to build near the top here. It'll be interesting. I think he should build Drone Animus here. Oh, but he has 3 engineers. I forgot about that already. Okay, interesting. That does allow him to drone up a bit more. Maybe he can get a Colossus or a Thunderhead or something. But honestly, Thunderhead doesn't seem that good against someone who has access to Blood Rager. Now, here's the thing to think about. Normally, when you're going Blood Rager, you build 2 Tarsiers and then like an Electivore or a Rhino or something. But we do have access to Nitrocide here, so we could think about playing some tricks where, like, because okay, when you normally you build a Blood Rager, right? And then next turn you have like 6 attack or something. And at that point, it's no longer valuable to build more Blood Ragers. But something that we could do, and this seems super cheeky, I don't know if it's good, you could build Nitrocides instead of Tarsiers to let yourself build some more tech or drones or something. And then you'll have 3 attack. And then you'll buy a Blood Rager, and you'll still have 3 attack, and you'll get like value for another Blood Rager. That gets you better Blood Rager value, but obviously like Nitrocides are worse value than Tarsiers generally. I think this is okay because it lets me work in excuse me, the blue that I wanted, right? Now I can build Tarsier, Ebb Turbine, Electivore next turn. I like this idea. I don't know if it's good, but I'm gonna try it. And if the opponent doesn't build a Blast Forge, preparing to wall, I don't know, Blood Rager's gonna be a bit weaker. I might not do it. But that's the nice thing about Nitrocide, you can hold them. Actually, yeah, I'm just not going to build the Electivore yet. I'm just going to build 2 Tarsiers. And the Nitrocides are just going to sit here looking stupid. But we might be able to build 2 Blood Ragers at a time? I don't think that's actually good. So he's skipped Ebb Turbine. Ooh, Mahar Rectifier. Yeah, if we have 6 attack next turn, 2 Blood Ragers would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? How could I get that? I could build 2 Electivores. And an Engineer. Now I'll have 6 attack. Oh, but he's probably not even gonna... Masterbot always attacks with Mahar Rectifiers, which is generally not a great plan. But he does it. And so that means we wouldn't actually be denying Absorb by building a bunch of Blood Rager stuff. But that's sort of fine. Like, if he denies himself that value by attacking, then great. He's not getting value, and we threaten to attack for a bunch, so that's fine. Okay, so he built a Blood Rager. It's not very nice. So we need to replace 1 Engineer to keep the Electivores firing. We don't want Blood Ragers ourselves because they're not really denying the opponent any value. It would be interesting to get a Steel Forge here and start consuming drones to make Steel Splitters. But I think I'm going to need to be building walls so that, I don't know. Building a Blast Forge in order to click it is generally just like not good. You would do better to build a drone and then just buy Steel Splitters the normal way, usually. So what else am I doing here? 2 Tarsiers? Seems a bit slow. I could build an Electivore, but I can't build another Engineer if I do that. Unless I click the Ebb Turbine, which I could do. So I asked, how do you know when to click Ebb Turbine? When is it time in the game to start selling your drones? I think I asked Mr. Guy this, in fact. And his response made a lot of sense to me, which was, you should always click Ebb Turbine. And I'm like, what? That seems a little crazy. But it's not because you should always actually click it, but what you should do is click Ebb Turbine, and then evaluate the turn, pretending Ebb doesn't exist. if you decide this is a good time to build a drone, then unclick the ebb turbine, right? You're already good at knowing when to buy drones, and you're therefore good at knowing when to sell them. Just automatically sell them and then consider buying them back. Which I found like really simplified made it much easier for me to like part with my drones when it doesn't feel like time to drone. Here, would I buy another drone after a Tarsier? Yeah, probably, right? I guess it's all right. But what if I wanted to do something like this? Here, I can't buy another drone. And I do need all of these engineers if the enemy attacks with everything, which he usually does. So I can't like cut one to buy a drone instead. So I think I should click the ebb turbine and build engineers here. Okay. And now the enemy has very little defense and no access to blue. So that's my main advantage. Of course, he has a lot more drones. And now he's getting his blue. Whew. I'm actually like behind in everything, aren't I? I have, oh no, I can breach? That's pretty good. I'm not behind in everything. All right, so let's just build another wall. Hang on, let's sell our drone first. See, I can do that without even thinking about whether I need to sell it, because I know I can just get it back. So let's build a wall. And I think we want to keep the pressure on, right? Don't let him get to the point where he can absorb on wall. Actually, he can probably do that if he wants by just, this Rhino's going to be getting held back anyway, and he has an engineer. That's already 3 defense. Wall is 6. How much more can I really threaten, right? Not that much more. So just a couple Tarsiers. On the other hand, like I kind of wouldn't mind buying some engineers anyway. So what if I did this? Get fast Tarsiers instead. And I will build another engineer here so that he doesn't have the opportunity to exploit me by attacking for 4. Making me lose 2 engineers and turning off some Electivores. Yeah, and now we're suddenly attacking for quite a bit. If he does attack me for 4, I might have to lose 2 engineers, and therefore 1 Electivore won't fire, but at least it won't be 2, which it would be if I didn't build this last engineer. Huh. So he held back his Rhino and built a Blood Rager. That's interesting. Sell the drone. What now? Probably another wall. And I'm gonna need to replace a couple of these guys, aren't I? Because we're probably, looks like, losing 2 engineers. So I need to replace 1. And then the only way to spend my tech efficiently is 2 more Tarsiers. Well, if we're doing, I guess I can build a Steel Splitter here. So we're gonna lose probably 2 engineers and rebuy 1. We'll still be matched up with the Electivores. Actually, I don't even need that engineer. Oh, I bought him as like insurance against some sort of exploit that didn't happen. No, I do, because we're going to lose 2 Engies, yeah. So 7 and 5, 7 minus... I read this as 6 or something. Okay. So this seems good. I don't like the Tarsier here, like, giving him a break, but he doesn't really have any attack. So the fact that he's way up in drones... I mean, he has some attack. Actually, he has almost as much as I do. But I have a lot more defensive tempo because I can, like, sack Engineer Steel Splitter, or Engineer Electivore if I ever need to. He's continuing to buy Blood Ragers, and this one I think was especially bad. For a lot of reasons. It didn't deny me any absorb, and it prevented him from getting his own defense. So we're in a pretty, I think, strong position here. I can just build Wall, NG, Tarsier, Tarsier. And that, I don't even need the NG. But, I mean, what else am I going to do with the $2, right? Yeah, and I don't think he's ever going to be able to defend again, question mark? Very good. We got through again. Oops, and we can kill a Tarsier. Sell the drone, buy... Wall looks pretty good. We are losing 4 NGs? Yikes. Well, I can just buy 4 NGs. There you go. And next turn we should be able to breach and turn off a bunch of his attack. Finally. Okay, he's... Did I miscount? No. He looked like he's trying to defend, but he didn't actually do it. I guess he's protecting his Tarsiers, even though he doesn't protect his wall. That's interesting. Again, we're losing 4 NGs, so rebuy 4 NGs. Actually, hang on. Let's just rebuy 3 NGs, because we have 1 to spare, and this way we can get the drone in. Yes. Okay, this seems fine. Just let me in, please. Alright, we're in. Wall. And now we're losing 2 NGs. Let's replace them. Do I want more attackers here? No, I'd rather just have the drone back. So I can continue. Okay, I think we got him here. I mean, I don't know. It looks pretty clear, in fact, that we've got him. Yeah, let's kill that off. Alright, and now we can just, like, add on more attackers in whatever way we want. Alright, so this unfair challenge wasn't too bad. Masterbot, again, made some pretty serious mistakes. Many different strategies are viable with this particular blueprint set. Each of the 11 random set units has the potential to play a role. Really? It didn't seem that way to me. Thunderhead is just like so ambitious. Shadowfang, likewise. Colossus, how do you get any of these? Against a Red Rush. With Blood Rangers. Jeez. I don't know. It's hard to believe. Maybe if you can get Mahar Rectifiers cycling well enough, you can do something like that. That's sort of the best absorber in the set, right? Is Mahar Rectifier. But it's so expensive to get an Energy Matrix and 2 attack. Right, you have to pay 22 and 4 green to get 1 Energy Matrix and like 2 Tarsiers. Which is kind of what you get. You can think of Mahar Rectifier, 2 Mahar Rectifiers as being an Energy Matrix and 2 Tarsiers. They're not, of course, and they're different in a number of ways that occasionally matter, but most of the time that's how they behave. It's just very, very expensive to get that. I don't know, it's hard for me to see most of the stuff seeing play, except the things I did. What to say about this? This whole Blood Ranger gambit was an interesting one. It kept my opponent out of blue, I guess is what we could say this accomplished. Because I threatened to... Yeah, by building these 2 Nitrocides, I make it a lot less appealing, I don't know, for him to go blue? Maybe? Because if he does, I can Blood Ranger twice in a row, and like, that's pretty good for me. And keeping him out of blue is kind of nice. But I don't know, he could still build the Blast Forge for Ebb Turbine? It's a mystery. After that, everything was just sort of like, build attack when you can, click Ebb Turbine because it's great, and the opponent just kept not defending. And he kept buying bad Blood Rangers. I don't know, the first couple were fine, right? Here, he, there's no, since this isn't a replay, it's a campaign mission, I can't actually go over his turns, but I just wanted to see how much attack he was giving up. And he gave up, 3 attack, so this Blood Ranger was actually quite good. How about his next Blood Rager? Here. Well, he's already getting breached. You don't really want to buy Blood Ragers when you're getting breached, I don't think. I don't know. He just, like, overdroned, I think? Makes, you know, good use of that third engineer, but I don't know. Maybe the whole point of the third engineer is to let him overdrone. If you don't have to spend the $2 to buy extra drones, they're probably pretty good value, even with no great absorber in the set. I think his biggest mistake was like just never using his Mahar Rectifiers the way they're supposed to be used. If you play this as 2 Tarsiers, it's pretty bad. Yep, okay. Well, that's cool. It's nice to beat an unfair challenge on the first try. I don't know if it's a feat we're going to be able to replicate with the others, but that's something we'll have to find out in a later episode, because this one is over. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.